Hi everyone, I just wanted to make another one of these videos because I have gotten such a great response from the last one. I've noticed it's been really helping the community sort of see through all of these manipulative tactics that Leandra Blades like to use in order to influence our community. This is something that we just found recently in Yorba Linda Moms. This was a post from this Wednesday, and what happened was one of her old friends named Dora Vargas just randomly showed up on this post. Now, Dora has been in and out of her group. She was banned before and she returned sometime in January of this year. And then from January until literally this Wednesday, she hadn't said anything except for just this one comment that I was able to find from her here. Bottom one, and that's it, right? Just a very short, comment that has nothing to do with the schools. It's a short comment. She doesn't really say a lot. So I tried searching for Dora Vargas in our group, as you can see. I just wanted to see what kind of comments she was typically leaving just so we could compare it. And she just says, "We love going there. Their outdoor setup is great." This was the other one that we found. This is from a post from Leandra, and you can see that Dora leaves a comment down here that says, "Love it." And so it's like just short, sweet comments. But she basically went from leaving very short, sweet, simple comments that were not related to the school board to leaving comments like this in just one day. I was talking about this with someone who was once very good friends with Leandra. So what we were told by them was that Dora actually allows Leandra to talk through her profile on Facebook. So, it's like, how do you know all this stuff, And this sounds just like Leandra, honestly, if you've ever seen her talk about this stuff before. So that was sort of the first clue that we had. We went ahead and we decided to analyze the two different writing styles. Okay, so here is for Leandra and Dora. When you give example text from Leandra's account and Dora's account. So this is from a known Leandra Blades account, and then this is from Dora Vargas's profile from just Wednesday. It says lexical features. For both accounts, they found frequent use of argumentative and persuasive vocabulary, syntactic patterns. There's a use of rhetorical questions to challenge the reader. This is something that one of Leandra's previous community members who used to live in Paramount told us about her. She likes to use rhetorical questions a lot in her writing, so you could kind of see that. There's also a frequent use of short to medium length sentences for emphasis, often punctuated by questions or declarative statements. Limited use of complex structures such as subordinate clauses, direct and confrontational syntax. Okay. Tone and attitude. There's consistently combative and defensive in tone across both samples, and mix of sarcastic commentary, good to know, super ethical, and rhetorical questions to provoke reactions. And the pacing is rapid, unyielding pacing, short paragraphs filled with direct statements and questions to overwhelm the reader, few breaks or transitional phrases, making the text feel relentless and intense. And so this is something that she would have learned as well to do. Like, part of the strategy that people who are supposed to lead this movement were taught and trained to do was to have a very aggressive attack style strategy on social media. So just know they do it on purpose. They do it deliberately to just kind of always put you on the defensive when you're arguing with them. That's what they're supposed to do. So it's a very deliberate thing. Here's structure and formatting. Paragraphs tend to be between 2 to 5 sentences long. Minimal separation between topics. Thoughts flow without clear topic shifts, which adds to the confrontational feel. So again, you're just going to see this very aggressive attack style. And then here's a conclusion. Likelihood of shared authorship. It says, based on the shared lexical choices, syntactic patterns, and argumentative structure, there is a high probability that both text samples originate from the same author or from someone closely emulating the same style. So Leandra does this because it is a very effective tactic that you use in order to get people to believe you, especially if you're trying to say something that's a lie. It's called illusory truth. That's a phenomenon, and it's basically where people believe something the more times that they hear it, especially if it's from different people, even if they know that it's false. So you'll notice that Leandra does this where she has her supporters come out in the community groups with the same talking points. And the reason why this works is because not only does it, help with the whole illusory truth side, but it also intimidates people into not speaking up because it looks like she has strength in numbers. Okay, so I just wanted to also share a little bit more about media and media manipulation that is being used by Leandra. It's just something that you should all be aware of. So number one is manipulation, campaign planning, and origins. And this is the first stage where they, start thinking about the narratives that they want to come up with or the spins. Number two, seeding the campaign across social media platforms and web. And this is something you're going to see that Leandra definitely does. So I'll show you what I mean. So if you go over to Leandra's profile, you're going to see that she has these posts, and look at this right here. Boom. 20 shares. Like, as soon as she posts something, you're going to notice that this happens a lot with a lot of her videos. Like this one right here, 23 shares. Okay. So this is her seeding the campaign across social platforms and web. She has a whole group of people who help her do it. And, I think some of them probably just do it because they just want to. And then I know some of them actually do it because she asked them to, because I was told that information by someone who used to be very close to her. It's very effective, unfortunately, as we can see in our city. Now, here's number 3. Stage 3, responses by industry. Number 4 is mitigation. The 4th stage of a manipulation campaign documents actions by tech companies, government, journalists, or civil society to mitigate the spread of a campaign's content, messaging, and effects. I feel like in this case, this would be like Yorba Linda Moms, where we're trying to basically mitigate the effect of her campaign. That's what we've been essentially doing, okay? And also PYLBus. And then stage 5, adjustments by manipulators to new environments. So, they're going to evolve and find new ways to do it. And, that's basically what we're seeing right now, right? So Leandra, we called out the fake profiles. And then what does she do? Well, then she goes through one of her friends' profiles to use that instead, And so you're definitely seeing her evolve and use different tactics. She also uses the illusory truth phenomenon, which we mentioned earlier, so you're going to notice that she has her supporters use very similar talking points in order to parrot each other. So at the last board meeting, you're going to see that a lot of her supporters came out and they kept commenting about how horrendous people were acting, the teachers and the union. They were acting so terrible. They were acting, animalistic or something along those lines. And something that I saw that was very alarming was she also would have them say not to go to these groups to talk about it. She would keep having them say stuff like, oh, just go to the source, go to the board meetings, go to the school district to get the information yourself, talk to Leandra Blades. And this was a major red flag for me when I saw them do that. I kept pointing out, why would you go to the people who are in power for information when, what you really should be doing is talking about it as a community, because that's how you point out corruption. That's how you point out the things that they're doing wrong. In fact, the whole point of the First Amendment was for people to be able to talk about what the government was doing that was wrong. That's why we included the freedom of speech, okay? And the freedom of assembly, right? And so when they're doing that, it alarmed me right away, because I knew immediately, this is not what you're supposed to do. There's a whole reason why we included in the Bill of Rights as our very first right, the right of assembly and the right of, speech. That was something that just let me, figure out right away, because I saw that they were doing that there was something seriously wrong here. But anyways, these are just intended to help people in the community just to know what to look out for. And, I want to also mention this. I got a great response last time from this video, but I had one person who was like, well, how do you know for sure? And I will say this. I would never put out something like this if I wasn't confident in what I was saying. It's something that I 100% feel completely comfortable with defending in court if Leandra tries to take me there over this, trying to claim that it's libel and that is all false. There's so much more research that I did. This is just a very easy and simple breakthrough. There's a lot of other stuff that, also, I'm using in order to come up with this final conclusion. But just be aware that there's definitely a lot of facts to prove that this is what's happening. And just something that, we should be aware of as a community, right? Because if we're aware of it, then we can see through it, and it's a lot harder for her to manipulate us, right? Okay, so just know that that's why I make these videos. Anyways, I hope that you found this information very helpful and informative, and thank you for listening.